We're hitting on 74% of our college basketball bets since the start of February. And I've got 3 more bets that you need to take today in college basketball. Joe DeLeone here with the Sports Geek. We have had a fantastic run of college basketball betting since the NFL season ended, and there's plenty more to get into. But let's take a quick look at the scoreboard, as on Monday, we went 2-1 on our picks. Another fantastic day. We're going to get an update on Tuesday on the Thursday picks show just because of the time of taping in order for this to get out for you to tune in. On Monday, we didn't have a super sexy slate of interesting games. We ended up nailing the Duke plus 20.5 versus Wake Forest. That one was a pain in the ass to watch because at the beginning of it was really low scoring. I think 5 minutes into the game, about 14 minutes to go in the first half, it was like 4-2. I really thought that Duke was mailing it in, but apparently they were drilling every single shot in the second half. We saw what Cooper Flagg did. He was unbelievable. UCLA -3 versus Northwestern. Talk about a frustrating one. UCLA was smoking Northwestern towards the end and almost completely sold. And if it wasn't for a no call on a foul, we almost completely blew that one. And then Houston, I had faith in Houston. They were playing good basketball. They weren't shooting the way that we needed them to. They did not hit on the 8.5 bet versus Kansas, but still a fantastic 2-1 day, puts us at 24-12-1 overall, good for 66.7% on our total bets. We are 20-7 so far on college basketball, which is unfreaking real. We'll see how we do on Tuesday. Hopefully that we continue this trend and at least we have some nice forward momentum. As we always do on this channel, the 3 picks that we give out are for the 3 best games of the night in any sport. Games that you can tap into, you can tune into and enjoy watching because you've got a little bit of action. We're not going to dig into the weeds of some of the smaller games, but instead we're talking Maryland at Michigan, Florida at Alabama, Marquette at Uconn. To kick us off with the Terps traveling to face off in Ann Arbor with the Wolverines, Michigan is favored -2. What I found very interesting when we're looking at trends here, Michigan is 13-16 against the spread. They are not a good covering team. They are an easy team to bet against, especially in matchups with top teams in the Big Ten. We remember what happened when they took on Michigan State at home. Maryland is 15-14 against the spread this season, which is fine. But this is where we need to lock in and we need to pay the most attention. Michigan is 2-8 in the last 10 against the spread. They are not covering. They are not covering right now. 2-8 is enough. Like if I read 2-8 and Maryland being 6-4 in the last 10, I would say take Maryland. We're at a 20% hit rate of them succeeding against the spread. It's awful. On top of this, a couple other things. Maryland is 9-12 against the spread after a win. Michigan is 3-3. Both these teams are coming off of wins. Just worth noting there. I like to just provide that context. Michigan is 6-9 against the spread at home. They are not a good home covering team. Lastly, we talk a lot about three-point shooting on this channel. Leaning into massive three-point shooting disparities has helped us produce a lot of these correct picks. And with a close line like this, I think that Maryland being 40th in the country in three-point shooting and Michigan at 155th is worth noting. Folks, also, before we get to the next one, we've got a lot more engagement lately. We've been getting some pretty good comments. Anyone who's got bets that they are interested in taking that aren't the 3 games, or you've got a pick on these 3 games and you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Comment below, hit the like button, subscribe as well, but let me know below who you betting on, who do you have action on. Try to get to as many comments as we can going forward, but let me know what you're thinking for today's games. Florida at Alabama. Alabama is favored -3.5. Florida this season, both these teams, Florida's coming off of a win. Alabama's coming off of a loss to Tennessee. Florida, 16-8 against the spread after a win. Not Maryland. Alabama is 4-1 against the spread after a loss. Alabama this season has been great at covering at home. 8-6 against the spread at home. Florida still does a good job of covering on the road. They are 5-4 against the spread on the road. Now where we lock in, and this is to take a quick pause talking about this game. This is one of the harder picks that I'm giving out this week because these two teams are really similar. They're both really good at rebounding. They're both really good offensively. They're both two of the best teams in the country. And there's really not much separation in a lot of the things that we've already depicted here. In the trends that they have, in how well they play at home and on the road. Bama is number 1 in total rebounds, and you could have probably guessed it that Florida is third. Not enough of a gap to figure out which side really has the true advantage. Alabama is 22nd in shooting percentage in the country, and Florida is 61st by just a hair of a margin. So for that, one reason why I'm taking Bama minus 3.5 is that slight gap there, 40 spots in shooting percentage. Neither team's like super uber great at shooting three-pointers. I didn't even write those down in my notes because it just wasn't really notable because they were very similar to one another. But I have found, and I've talked about this many a times on this channel, the SEC is the one conference where I will not pick against a road team. I won't. It's a close spread. I hope that this line doesn't move by the time people get it, but I am going to take Alabama minus 3.5 against Florida. Last one. You got Big East basketball. Uconn is favored at minus 3.5 against Marquette. This one was interesting because when you look at the trends and how these two teams are doing, I don't think that it is as important as looking at the quality of these two teams and what both teams do well. Marquette is 10-1 against the spread after a win. Both these teams are coming off of wins. Uconn is 7-11-1. That raised a little bit of a red flag for me. Uconn is 4-9-1 against the spread at home this year, while Marquette is 5-7 on the road. So neither is really good enough to pick a side there, but it's a little odd that Uconn is not great at home this year. They just haven't played well. Anyone who's watched Uconn this year at home, it's been weird. You're kind of scratching your head going like, why aren't they pulling away? They should have more energy than this. But where I'm sticking with Uconn and why I'm going with Uconn to cover minus 3.5 in this close battle, Marquette is 200. This is an insane gap, by the way, for both of these. 224th in the country in three-point shooting, while Uconn is 91st. Marquette is 167th in shooting percentage, while Uconn is 28th. I'm going to lean on the team that is the better shooting team, especially the better three-point shooting team when there is that much of a gap. So we're going to go with Uconn. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the like button. If you enjoy these, send it to your friends and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.